Hello, everybody. In today's podcast, I just want to do a section on betrayal. I've written a whole book called Surviving Betrayal, and it's on SoundCloud, and it's also on my YouTube channel, Real Relationships. However, I just wanted to do a particular podcast on this, just in this little section here. If you've had to deal with betrayal in your relationship, you'll know how hard that is. It's really heartbreaking. And it doesn't matter what the betrayal really is, it's still really heartbreaking, and it makes you really, really angry. And how you deal with it is really up to you. There's common society ideas about how we deal with betrayal, and we can separate, we can not be together anymore. We can also stay there and spend the rest of our life punishing them, not forgive them, or we can actually get over it, forgive them, and move on. The betrayal is really, really hard, and anyone who tells you that you can get over it easy is not the person who went through it. And I think being betrayed by your partner that you love is probably one of the hardest things. There's also betrayal with your family and your friends, and there's money betrayal. There's all different sorts of betrayals, but I'm just talking about one within the love relationship, because betrayal is really all about lies. Because when someone betrays you, they're lying to you. And I think we actually really struggle with the fact that love and truth go together. So when you don't have the truth, it really messes up the love part. You need to do what's right for you in your relationship. If you really love this person and they've made a mistake and they've messed up and they've fessed up or been put over the coals and been made to tell the truth, as often is the case, then you have to decide whether you want to stay in the relationship or not. You will be so angry and you will be so hurt. Any of those feelings that you have are really normal, and they're not going to go away in 2 weeks' time. They're going to be there until you can find ways to release them. The way it really works, I think, in real life is if someone has betrayed you and then you've come to talk all about it and they've promised never to do that again, I think you can heal it. It's going to take time, and your trust issues with them are going to be pretty rocky. However, if they never do that again and never lie to you again, then you can actually save it. However, people who betray are often compulsive liars, and they're very good at it. And the fact that they've been able to lie to you and you didn't pick up on it really is not a good sign for you, because it means that they could easily lie to you again and you won't pick up on it next time. I don't think you can really forgive someone who's betrayed you until you get rid of these strong emotions around it, and until you can build some trust. I think it's just words. So if you haven't been able to do that, I wouldn't worry about it at all. What you have to take in consideration is who you are as well. If you've come out of any sort of abuse or have been betrayed in other relationships, your sensitivity will be high, and therefore your ability to cope with it will be less. Don't be hard on yourself because of that. That's just who you are now because of what happened to you. You need to be with someone you can trust implicitly, someone who won't lie to you, someone who, if you actually ask them, they will tell you the truth and you can deal with it. There's often the idea that if someone's betrayed you, it's both your fault. I don't think that's true. I think in some cases it can be. Perhaps if your partner's been neglecting the relationship and you go wandering off to look for something you don't have in the relationship, perhaps they can take some responsibility. However, don't be fooled into thinking that it's your fault the person betrayed you. Some people are just really selfish, and they just want what they want and they go after it, and they want everything. So they want you and they want everything else. Therefore, don't put yourself in that position where you start to blame yourself for it. If you have done nothing wrong and you know it, and you've been a good partner and a very loving person toward them and unselfish and giving, and they've done this to you, the blame lies at their feet. Your part in forgiving them is something different, but this part is their part. Being betrayed takes a long time to heal from. I know you want to hear me say you can get over it in 5 minutes, but you won't. And the only thing that will really fix it is time and them not betraying you again and them not lying to you again. However, you can be in a situation when they do that and then they betray you again and you find out. Then you have to make some serious choices of where your boundaries are and what you will and won't accept in this relationship. If you're listening to this, I think you probably have been betrayed or you suspect it. I think you should deal with it. If you can't deal with it with your partner, go and see a counselling person or a psychologist. Go to get some professional help around this. If the two of you can go, that's fabulous. But if your partner won't go, just go on your own, because you're going to need a lot of help. Also, decide who you're going to tell or not tell. It can be very tricky, this one, particularly with families and friends, because they will hold a grudge and they will never forgive them probably, and that will change the dynamic. So keep it in-house if you want to. You don't have to tell everyone your business, and see if you can sort it out. However, if you've got a good friend or family member that you can share this with, and they won't be judgmental and they will keep your confidence, I think that's important for you to have as well, so you don't feel so alone with it. If you're the person who's betrayed the other person, you've messed up, haven't you? Therefore, you're just human. And then to fix it, you're going to have to stop doing it this way anymore. You need to stop being selfish and going after what you want. You need to decide whether you want to be in this relationship or not, and stop messing with their heart. If you're at the other end of that and you're being betrayed, you can maybe look at some of the things you could improve for the future of your relationship if you want to stay, but you don't have to stay if you don't want to. And you might want to have a separation. A separation isn't such a bad idea sometimes, rather than a complete cut. It gives you time to calm down, especially your anger, because you're going to be really, really angry with them. And therefore, once the anger subsides, it's better to make decisions then. You don't have to tell people why you're separating if you don't want to. You just say, we're just not getting on, it's not working, decided to just have a break for a while. Separation can actually work, and that can work within the house, where you both sleep in different rooms and or live separate lives for a little bit, or you can actually have someone who moves either back home or with a friend or out to a place for a while. Do what's right for you. If you've been betrayed, you're hurting, and you're hurting really, really badly, and you're in shock. Therefore, when you're in shock, it's not a good idea to make decisions. Wait until the numbness goes and you come out of the shock. We are all human and we all make mistakes, but we need to take responsibility for those mistakes and then fix it and don't do it again. And this is what the biggest problem with betrayal, I think, is, that a person who betrays and who is a compulsive liar will probably do it again. Unfortunately, that's the truth of the world. I'm hoping you've got a partner or you're the person who won't do it again. I hope that's how it is for you, but don't be blindsided by everything. For you, it might not be an important thing. You might not need to have the person being faithful, even though you found out now what's happened, and you can find a place in your relationship that will work. I think that our society is changing quite a bit now, so you might want to do that. But I think it's not about the betrayal, it's about the lies, and that the person has lied to you. So see if you can get a relationship which is now honest, completely honest, and then that will save you the pain and the shame and everything that goes with betrayal. These relationships can be saved. I really believe that. I think love can heal, and unconditional love particularly can heal. If you love that person unconditionally and you can forgive them. But forgiveness comes at a price, and it means the other person who's betrayed has to stop doing it, and that is the price. And they have to stop lying. It does have rules and boundaries with forgiveness. It's not just some airy-fairy thing you do. The trust is going to take a long time to build back up as well, and you're going to be a little bit paranoid if you've been betrayed, and you're going to be a little bit like the jealous, crazy girlfriend or boyfriend for a while, and that's okay. They created it. You didn't do it. So you just tell them to be quiet. They don't like it. And if you're with a partner who doesn't want to talk about it, I think you really need to look at that as a sign of not taking responsibility. And maybe this isn't a good relationship for you long term. I think only you know what you want. But while the emotions are really, really strong and powerful, it's very, very hard to be rational. That's why I'm doing this particular podcast. So if you've been betrayed and you're sitting there on your own in your room, you don't know what to do, just take your time. You don't have to do anything. Just let the emotions subside. Some people have found their relationships are stronger afterwards if there's been a betrayal and then there was forgiveness, and then they bond together even more closely, and it becomes a more honest and loving relationship. And I hope for you that happens. However, to do that, you have to be able to put it all out on the table, both be completely honest, look at what you can do so it doesn't happen again, because some of it might have been your problem. Maybe you've been inattentive in the marriage in many ways and the person strayed, because often people do just stray because they're looking for love, I suppose, in a weird way, because they don't feel like they're getting nourished at home. However, it doesn't matter really why they did it. In some ways, you have to work out what you're going to do for your future and just take your time. You don't have to do anything but heal now, because that's the most important thing for you to do if you're being betrayed, is to heal. And if you're the person who's betrayed the other person, you need to give them time to heal. And whatever they want to talk about and however long they want to go over it, round and round in circles, you might need to do that as part of the healing, because for them that's part of the healing, because in many ways people don't understand why you did it. I'm wishing you really good healing with this, and I'm wishing you success with this, however it turns out for you. Don't stay in a relationship where you no longer trust them and they keep doing it, because it's just going to make you sick. It will be very toxic for you long term. I just feel that's the thing. That's my last thing I want to say, is that being betrayed is a very toxic environment for you, and therefore you need to get help, as much help as you can, if you just do decide you're not quite ready to move out or leave. During this time is the time you need to get lots of healing. So I'm sending you lots of love and lots of healing, and I hope that you find a way through this one, because it's a very, very difficult one and it's very, very challenging.